A simple craving for Chinese food has turned into a heated national debate. One Reddit post is stirring emotions across Singapore after a user called out certain Chinese eateries for what he says is an exclusionary practice, having menus that are entirely in Chinese with little or no English at all. The post, titled "The Problem with Mainland Chinese Restaurants in Singapore is the Language Barrier and Lack of English," as a non-Chinese Singaporean, was shared on r/Singapore and quickly caught attention. The writer, a 22-year-old Indian Muslim Singaporean, explained how much he loves Chinese food, especially halal options like Lanzhou beef noodles or Hai Di Lao in Indonesia, but said dining in some of these newer Chinese-run eateries in Singapore is no longer enjoyable because of the language gap. He said this issue doesn't apply to big chains like HDL, Luckin Coffee, or Chaji. Instead, the problem lies with smaller restaurants that have been sprouting up in places like Bugis, Clementi, Chinatown, and Toa Payoh, areas with a growing number of mainland Chinese residents. According to him, these eateries often use only Chinese on their menus and signage, sometimes with badly translated or barely readable English versions squeezed into the corners. The Redditor shared that even if some menus include English, the translations are small, confusing, or inaccurate. That makes it difficult for non-Chinese speakers, including many locals, to know what they're ordering. Worse still, this also affects food delivery riders who struggle to identify stalls with only Chinese words displayed. That can lead to delays, errors, and frustration for everyone. He questioned whether these businesses even want to serve a wider customer base. Do they think everyone speaks Chinese? He asked. To him, it feels like these places are not just hard to understand. They're unwelcoming to those who don't speak the language. And he's not alone. The post resonated with many other Singaporeans, especially those from minority groups. One person wrote that going into some of these eateries feels like being treated as a foreigner in your own country. Others chimed in, saying this is not just a small issue, it reflects something bigger, something deeper. A shift away from Singapore's multicultural roots. One commenter pointed out that English has always been our bridge language, a way for different races and communities to connect and communicate. So when that gets sidelined, even in something as everyday as ordering food, it feels like the country is moving backwards. Interestingly, the Redditor also said that some of his friends don't see the problem. They just say, "Don't support them, lah." But to him, that kind of thinking misses the point. He believes this isn't just a personal issue. It's a national one. So here's a question for you. Should restaurants in Singapore be expected to use English on their menus? Or is it fair for them to stick to their own language if that's what works for their main customers? And if the trend continues, what does that say about integration and identity in today's Singapore? If you find this interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, 2230.